What are my top tips for conducting a great interview? Stay tuned. It's really intimidating to sit down and be asked questions by somebody that you have no context for. Focus on the person and getting them comfortable. So if somebody's really interested in something, even if you don't actually need that for the film, and you have the time and the data to spare, keep rolling on it. Because if they're comfortable, they're gonna be more likely to give the material and the content that you're actually looking for. Number 2 is prep. Think about the questions you want to ask. Write them down. Go over the list multiple times. Cull it, curate it, and spend some time meditating on these questions so that when you show up, you have a list that's a map. That doesn't mean stay on your list. There's no worse buzzkill for a subject than an interviewer who doesn't follow them and follow their train of thought. No matter what you say, they move on to question 2. No matter what you say, they move on to question 3. Interviews are conversational, and sometimes you actually need to take the conversation away from your ultimate purpose in order to bring it back in for a landing. So be comfortable to move the terrain. Are you comfortable? If you look comfortable, they will feel comfortable. If you're asking an interview and you're sitting like this, it might be difficult, right? Yeah, you don't want to be interviewing like this. So tell me, sir, why do you find this important? No, you want to be comfortable and you want to be mindful of your face. Are you smiling? Are you just looking down at the questions the whole time? Or are you making eye contact? Are you emoting what they are experiencing? So if my subject is going through a sad story, I find myself listening and mirroring a little bit. Yeah, that is really sad. Let yourself go where they are. Let them take you on a journey. If they're excited and happy and they're laughing, smile. Keep them in that space. You want to encourage them to lean into the parts that they are expressing deeply. Because on camera, oftentimes the energy is smaller than it feels on set. So you want them to lean into it. You want them to really express. You want them to move their hands if they're excited. If they're sad, you want to see the sadness. So emote and reflect it back into them. Last but not least, don't think of your questions as a debate or as a gotcha. Don't think what's the hardest question I can ask, although that's often tempting. Start with the softballs. It's sort of like any kind of flow state activity. You want to actually start easy, get progressively more and more difficult, hit a peak. When you hit the peak of the interview, this might be the most difficult part, the most challenging part to talk about, then you want to slowly, gradually back down. There's nothing more difficult than an interviewer walking in and asking the most intense question right up front. Very, very difficult. Instead, start slow, start with introductions. What have you been up to today? What are you trying to accomplish? Okay, let's talk about your life. Who are you? And then you can start peeling back and get to the deeper elements. Allow the peak to be there. Live in the peak for as long as it's comfortable and makes sense in that context. And then wind it down slowly. Don't say, okay, thank you, goodbye. Because honestly, we're relational. It's important to realize these are real people. They're not your tool to manipulate to get the outcome you want. These are real humans, and the fact that they're sitting there talking to you is a privilege and an honor. You need to recognize that, cherish that, take care of them. And they will take care of you too. They will tell you their story, but if they don't feel that, you're not actually going to get what you want. And worst case is, you get what you want and they leave dissatisfied, unhappy, traumatized, sad. And that actually carries it forward because ultimately they will have this piece out in the world and they need to be proud of it. And more importantly, they need to remember the experience they had with you as being a good experience, even though it might be challenging. Because ultimately, oftentimes they're the biggest advocates for the piece at the end of the day. So do people justice, treat them well, don't do gotchas, don't trick them, be gentle, be relational, be empathetic. These are the important things when it comes to interviewing people. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things I get to do. It really is. I have multiple times stopped in the middle of an interview for breaks, and I just sit back and I'm like, wow, cannot believe this person entrusted me with this moment. And I've interviewed hundreds of people. I have interviewed musicians and athletes, celebrities. I've interviewed Harvard professors. I've interviewed economists and philosophers and political scientists, government officials. So after all of those years of interviewing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, those are my top tips.